I don't think they know. I'm too busy for their own good. Need to stop watching their colors and Boys in the Hood. This H-Town Houston, nigga. What it is, man. The boy is back. The boys are back in town. Yeah. Let's get to it. Now, hope y'all enjoyed the experience from the last one. You did. We'll come back to that though, man, cause I ain't finished with that. But I think I'm gonna do a whole. I want to hurry up and close this one out. Well, not hurry, you know, but I want to get off of this one real quick. This series. And yeah, excuse the redundancy or the seemingly redundancy of this shit. But what I'm doing is it's so much, it's so many, and it's just one book I'm coming out of. You know, by my camera being, by me only being able to really record like an hour, I don't want to be scrambling through all these different books and shit. But this is gonna be this, you know, like I say, don't trip on the redundancy of it. I know you be like, oh, he said that. Oh, it's gonna go up. This gonna. Now we know that we got the basics down, but now now what I'm doing is showing you how different mythology from different sections pertain to this whole creation process. So don't trip on the redundancy of it all. But as far as the X, I'm gonna come back to that, cause it's that shit. I got some other shit that go along with that, and you know, like I said, I drew that on a Friday, the X thing on a Friday, the X Pac and the Leah thing, and then that Sunday, I was watching. They had a Wild Wild West marathon, old show, the show that. The movie that Will Smith played in, Wild Wild West, is based on an old TV show, and they had like a marathon going. That's a dope ass show, man. I ain't gonna lie. Jim West and shit. That's a dope ass show. We was sitting. I fucked around and got a live ass. Came up with a live ass little rhyme. Watching that shit, me and my partner was watching that shit, and they was fighting. And I'm like, man, look at these niggas, man. I said, look at all these niggas with this old $2 karate, man. I said, just look at this. It was stiff as a motherfucker. So me and my partner started laughing. So I'm like, yeah, man. So you know these niggas. I'm like, look at this boy, man. I'm like, this is a dope show, but I was like, this is $2 karate. I said, real karate, man, and fuck them boys up, man. You see all this stiff shit going on? I said, think about. I'm telling my partner, like, think about them old karate movies. And then look at this shit. I was like, man, them niggas get fucked up. But it's a dope show now at least. But I came up with a line that was like, $2 karate man gotta get out of the way of the samurai shin when I begin to spin. Yeah. Bars, nigga. You just can't fuck with the kid with this rap shit. I don't give a fuck who you are when it comes to it. I'm the illest of this shit. Rapping, nigga. But yeah, I thought I'd give y'all some star bars real quick. But let's get to the business. So we're gonna deal with time right here. Show y'all something with this moon shit. And first and foremost, you got stellar time, lunar time, and solar time. Solar time is the sun time. That's the last addition to the whole time taking factor. Then you have, which is the 31 days of the month. The lunar is a 28-day month cycle, and then the stellar would be more so of the zodiac. And you'll see how it all comes together when I'm finished. You know, I'm real big on this moon thing right now because I was like I said, I was utterly disgusted with some shit I've been hearing about the moon. You know what I'm saying? How these people been teaching. When that was one of the goddamn things we created as a That's sacred to Tahuti, the Hermes. You niggas probably Hermes. I don't think that these niggas be knowing about Hermes. It's bags and shit, but Hermes is Tahuti, the god of wisdom and knowledge and the timekeeper, or the god of time taking, or whatever. So, where we go? Let me make sure my camera set right. No goddamn. We're gonna get back to the X shit too. All right. This is the surface flooded with light. After all the lamps been lit up, the 7 lamps in the center with the 8 above, and all the light is splashed through the center. Now, should we go to the scholarship first? Well, let me just break it down. So you got the center right here. You got the flooded with light. And as we know, everything is gonna retract from the center and moonwalk backwards to the outer ring of the circumference, the furthest ring out of the outer circumference or whatnot. So I'll go off the head with this one real quick. You got rim. That's one of the Egyptian netters. Rim. The rim and the rim. You will read about the weeping of rim. The weeping of rim is the weeping of the light from the center to the outer circumference. So when you have this full face of light, you know, it's flooded with light. But as I told you, each one of these, this light retracts here, all that light retracts to this concentration, to this part right here, which this will be a mountain. That's another thing. When they say we'll be coming around the mountain, or when they, or that old shit, coming around the mountain, they talking about the light traveling over the mountains as they retract back. Which the mountains are one of the ways that the mountains pertain to Soot, who dismembers the body, is even you had this light flooded. You had this light flooded through the circumference, but you had at the same time you had those seven mountains coming from the bottom or raising up. So it seems as if it's separating the light into 7, 7, 14, 7, 7, 14. Or you can get the whole 7, 7, 14, 14 pieces. This is how the even though really the original version of Soot, who's the prototype of what you call the devil now, which is has a lot of misunderstandings to it as well. But when you look at the original prototypes of so the original zoo types, really it ain't no fucking horns. You have the ears of one of the zoo types, just the ass. Then you got the giraffe. Then you have the ass, which is the donkey, and then the giraffe, and then what else? But anyway, but so when you think about the horns of the devil or the horns, this is where that shit comes from. The horns of the mountains. And these 7 right here, the 7, you got the 7 mountains, and then the 7, because just like the top had the 8 with the 7 behind it or under it, you got an 8. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and then you have 7 following that one, 7, 7, 7. And I think what these would be was mounds. So these would be the mountains would represent the mountains of the earth, or the horns would represent the mountains of the earth, and then the bumps or the mounds would represent the hills of the earth or whatever, and everything in between would be the flatlands. Which eventually is going to be flooded with water. The 40 days, 40 night thing. Finna get into that. That's the set thing with the mountains coming up over the top. But when the light is flooded with You see, that wouldn't. This is where the mountains would be the soot. The black mountains coming out of it would be the soot or the set. But when it's flooded like this, even the mountains are covered with gold, and that's where you get your golden calf thing. Those would be the horns of the golden calf. So that would take it out of the soot box because it'd be flooded with light. The light would be overtaking. Would be overtaking the darkness of the Melanin Mountains or whatever, or the horns. That would be the golden calf. But when they talk about the weeping the rim, when all this light, when all the light retracts to the outer circumference, it's like it's weeping from the center, and then it leaves the little teardrop, little golden dots in the center of the darkness, which would be leaving it looking like something like this here. And I hope you can see the little golden lights in there, but I might have to do one. I think I'm gonna do this shit, redraw this shit and paint it, and do it in paint, or at least that one, cause. But anyway, so the gold flakes left behind will be the tears of Ra. Now let me get into this. This is 407 in ancient Egypt, light of the world. The exodus from Egypt and the desert of Amenta, which is which is basically the title. When you, because I probably won't be able to get too deep into this chapter, but basically what this chapter is dealing with is showing you how your exodus story, was actually based on what I'm showing you now. The light traveling from the bottom, or the exodus from Amenta, or whatever. Showing you how they got that shit, the story in the Bible from the original Exodus in Amenta, or whatever, the desert of Amenta. What I just showed you with the darkness and the light specks that was left behind by the light moving to the outer circumference, that's called Sakari, the desert, because all that land that's left behind is when it's all said, when not all said and done, but when all the light retreats from the inside, it's gonna be left it's gonna be dry. Really frozen, because it's gonna rain the water, and it's just like a process. The seeds that are gonna be the light, after the light leaves behind, the gold flakes that are gonna be left behind all over the mountains and all over the flatlands, those are the seeds. See, remember I told you this is the horn. When all the light came through the center, yeah, excuse my goddamn nails. Doobie traveling, doobie digging, looking for doobies in the ashtray and shit. But when all that light was flooding the circumference, it was digging holes. That's Patar. This is the hole, the garden tool. He called my mama out of the name. That's that old house party shit. But that represents that's the digging. The horns, one of the things, the horns, like I say, we've been programmed to believe horns are associated with evil. But the horns was a symbol of Khnum. This is the potter's wheel. Khnum was the potter. His zoo type is a what is it? It's a golden animal. I think it's the goat, or not a goat, but the cow, some shit, but he got horns, and it represents the shaping and molding of everything that was to come into existence once the creation process was finished. So the physical body of man, the physical body of trees, animal, everything was being shaped and molded, and at the same time, the light of Ptah traveling to the outer circumference was digging holes and carving out taverns and caves and everything that was come to be. So the light left behind within all that was carved up in the surface, in the center of the circumference, in the surface of the circumference or whatever, the light left behind would be the seeds left behind within there, just like you plant a seed in the dirt or whatever. So let me read you some of this real quick. We roughly classify the myth and legends generally shown when roughly classified, the myth and legends generally show 2 points of departure for the migration of the human race. That's the departure from the center. I'm taking it. I'm speaking now. I'm taking this, not the book, but it's the departure from the center, and all the light traveling up to the top, and then the top becomes the departure, or the point of departure after that. So one is from the summit of the celestial mount, which is the top. The other from the hollow underworld beneath the mountain or inside the earth, which was the first initial takeoff when I was showing y'all earlier. I mean, showing y'all the other video with the when it all kicked off. But the races that descended from the mount were people of the pole, whose starting point in reckoning time was from one station of the pole star, determined by its type, whether as a tree, the rock, or other image of the first point of departure. The tree would be the erection of the pole in the middle, and the rock would be the bottom, or the where it's coming up, where the light is departing from. The rocks being created. I was telling you about the backbone on both sides. The rocks was being created in the center, so that's where the rock thing come from. Those who ascended or other image of the rock or other image of a first point of departure. Those who descended from the nether world were of the solar race, who came into existence with the sun as it is represented in the legendary lore, that is, when the solar mythos was established. The tradition of the pole star people found in the legendary in various countries is that they were born when no sun or moon as yet had come into existence, because the process of them coming forth was to create the sun and the moon. That was me saying it. I'll be guiding y'all through. Okay, back to the book. That is, they were pre-solar and pre-lunar in their reckoning time. These are they, as was said by the Egyptian, who issued from the eye of soot or darkness, the earliest type of which we reckon to have been the Polaris, whether as the pole star in the southern or northern heaven. These were the Nasi and the blackheads of the dim beginnings in the stellar mythology. Following them come the people born of the Eye of Horus, which was the symbol of the moon. Say that again. These were the Nasi and the blackheads of the dim beginnings in the stellar mythology. Following them come the people born from the Eye of Horus, which is the symbol of the moon. You goddamn dummy llamas. You gotta watch who you get your information from. I can't put enough emphasis on that. You have to have a sense of discernment. That's why I was telling you about the Anubis, about the jackal, being representative of a king's sense of judgment. You gotta have a king's sense of judgment when you read your own on your own. That's why it's good to learn from other teachers and stuff, and that's cool too. But read on your own too, and be able to go within, and so the spirit can guide you out, or your inner self, or whatever you want to call it, can guide you and show you things. I do the best that I can. I pretty much give it to you, the uncut. You know what I'm saying? With a few bumps of trial and error here and there, but even that, I show you that to give you a glimpse at the process of this, of how I come up with all this. But for the most part, you're good fucking with me. I'm the helmsman of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Not bragging or nothing, but I'm a nice pilot. I'm a fly pilot. I'm saying that with confidence, not arrogance. But yeah, you gotta have a keen sense of discernment. You have to be like the jackal. You have to be like Anubis and have a keen sense of judgment on. Okay, they talking some good shit. Oh, they go to bullshit. So you won't be swept up with the bullshit. So now we talking. Now another thing is, oh shit, the Nazi. That's where you get your word Nazi from. See, all this, I'm gonna fuck y'all up when it's at the end of all this and show you how they jack our shit. So a lot of shit you be thinking, oh, the swastika and oh, that's not us, that's them, and that represents the they don't like black people. No, they took our shit and started running with it. Nazi in the book is spelled N-A-S-H-I, Nazi, but that's where they get the word Nazi from, the blackheads. So the goddamn word itself means the blackheads. And when they talk, okay, let me put that right here. When they say these are they, as was said by the Egyptian, who issued from the eye of soot or darkness, the earliest type. And that's why they're saying that, because remember, in the beginning, this was a black head with a little dot in the middle, hidden by the darkness, the light hidden by the darkness. So when this took up, shot up, man, I hope y'all can see this shit, but when this shot up to land right here, that was the Nashi, the blackhead, Anubis, showing the way. How does he show the way? He goes through, and in each one he leaves 7 pathways, or 7 arcs, or 7 taverns, or 7 caves behind, showing the 7 lights down here that's gonna climb the rope up where they should land and go. That's why they say Soot was the Nashi, the blackhead, the first to take off. Because when it first took off, that's how it looked. So that's what that's about. Now, get back to it. Oh shit. I need to back up from the fucking table. Now, in the stellar mythos, men descended from the summit of the mount, which was an image of the pole. And still, in legendary lore, they try to tell us from which the 7 stations they descended as a time gauge and the prehistoric reckoning of their beginnings. But in the solar mythos, they ascended from the underworld, which had been hollowed out beneath the mount of the earth from the passage of the sun, for the passage of the sun. The oldest race that have kept the reckonings are descended from one another of the 7 stations in the mount. Oh, excuse me, stations in the mount of the north. And in the later mythos, men ascended from the earth below, or from below the earth. And we're going to get into all that. The human ascent being figured in the upward pathway of the sun. These were the solar race who followed the lunar and stellar of the past. These were born in Egypt, with the children of the sun god Atum, who became the Hebrew Adam as the father of the Adam race, of the human race. The sun god Atum, A-T-U-M, and then the Hebrew was A-D-A-M. That's me right there, ain't the book. Before mental was created by the excavator Ptah, within the neither earth, there was no typical ascent of man. Indeed, there were no men until the time of Tum. See, the Tum is what I was telling you about it just now, about the physical body. For example, we just say the physical body, for example. And this whole thing would be considered the Tum. A-T-U-M. So, you have, after the carving and cutting and molding is finished, you're going to have, say we just use humans for example, you have the physical bodies of the first humans up here, but they don't have the soul or the spark yet. So they're just a tomb. They're a tomb for the soul that is about to enter into them or whatever. And then when the soul enters into the tomb, the soul is dead. You resurrect the soul within the tomb via your journey into knowledge of self. Follow the yellow brick road. You dig? So and a lot of that Wizard of Oz shit is in here too. I just ain't get to it. But yeah, so that's what that is, the tomb. When the sun god, hold on. Indeed, that's why they said there was no man until the coming of the tomb or whatever. In that part, they talking about the physical body. Then the soul comes when Horus in the form of Ra comes back down, or the father in full figure, the full figure father. When the sun god Ra rose up from the earth or from the lotus, and as the father of created man, or man the mortal, the legend of the human ascent was established, and the creation of a tomb instead of being reckoned as the offspring of the old first mother, or the group of the 7 pre-solar gods, men became the children of Ra, who were said to have come into existence as tears from his eye, or as germs of elemental soul proceeding from the solar god. That's what I was telling y'all about the soul. The elemental soul proceeds from the soul. The elements, earth, wind, water, and fire, and the soul, the elemental soul, would be the solar humans. Stars were the children of Ra, the sun god in the solar mythos. Souls were the offsprings of Ra, the Holy Spirit in the eschatology. The eschatology is when he talking about the eschatology, souls were the offspring of Ra, the Holy Spirit in the eschatology. They're telling you that your soul is a son. Your soul is that's why I told you when I first started talking 4 or 5 years ago. I told y'all your soul is the sun. It's a son. Your soul to you is what your soul to your physical existence is what the sun is to our whole grand collective existence here on this planet and within this universe. This universe, one verse. Souls were the offspring of Ra, the Holy Spirit in the eschatology. And here we may possibly delve down to one of the tar poots of the legendary Exodus. The stars were looked on as a race of beings having souls of light that emanated from the sun. To these, the solar race, as human beings, were affiliated by means of the totemic types, which included the crocodile of Sebek, the beast of Bes. Now, Bes, I'm gonna pause right there. Bes, the best, or best, is the little people, the 12 people I was telling y'all about, the fairies and us, the original prototype of man, the best, the little people, the Twadadana, Bes, the beast of Bes. Okay. The hawk of Horus, the scarabus of the keeper or Kepper. Hence it is said by the god Ra to the righteous and the mentor, you yourself to hence it is said by the god Ra to the righteous and the mentor, you yourself are tears of mine, even in your person of superior man. I have shed abroad my seed for you. These were the seeds of Ra. These were the seed of Ra, who as figured were born like a tear from his eye. As a mode of effluence and being solar, they were the superior race of men. The Ruti, or the man par excellence. Under the name of Kapsu in Egyptian, the stars are synonymous with souls. These in their nightly rising from a mental with the images of souls becoming glorified. They came forth in their thousands and 10,000s from the Lord Egypt of astronomical mythos, the earliest Exodus being stellar. Thus we can realize the leader, Shu, who stands up on the height of heaven, rod in hand, and who is imaged in the constellation Cepheus as the regulus or lawgiver at the pole. Now, let me see, should I go on a little further because I want to time we got. I guess I can do a little bit of that real quick. In the destruction of mankind, the stars are said to be the multitudes which live in the nocturnal sky. In this underworld, Tahuti taught the moon god is called the luminary of Ra in the inferior heaven, in the deep region where he inscribes the inhabitants. And it is said to him, thou art keeper of those who do evil, whom my heart abhors. To talk was the reckoning of the stars, here called the inhabitants of the nocturnal heaven, or sky of Amenta, whose name or numbers were inscribed by him, possibly as 600 stars, which number was extended by the Jewish Kabbalists to the 600,000 souls in Goop, or Gup. Be this as it may, here are the souls in Amenta represented by the stars as inhabitants of the underworld. And in the new creation by Adam Ra, God of the nocturnal sun, they are spoken of as these multitudes of men. Ra orders that this heaven shall be depicted as a field of rest, and there arose the Elysian fields, or paradise of plenty, on Mount Hetep. In this new heaven, says Ra, I establish as inhabitants all the beings which are superseded in the sky, the stars, said by the majesty of Ra, the Tanu. I assemble there the multitudes that may celebrate thee. And there arose the multitudes. The multitude as stars have been inhabitants in the deep region of the inferior sky. Ra have been lifted up as God alone in this new heaven of the astronomical mythos. The stars that were in the lower are to be assembled and grouped together in the upper heaven. That's what I was telling you about the all of 7 writhed up and combining into one within the star series. Back to the book. This is followed by the stellar exodus from the lower Egypt and desert of Amenta under the leadership of Shuaner, the uplifter of the sky together with its inhabitants, the stars called the children of Nu, or heaven. It is said by Ra, my own son Shu, take with thee my daughter Nu, and be the guardian of the multitudes which live in the nocturnal sky, or the sky lower Egypt of Amenta. Put them on thy head and be their fosterer or sustainer. Then, as said in the hymn of Shu, uplifted is the sky, which he maintains with 2 arms as king of Upper and Lower Egypt, and his new character, Shusi-Ra, who in the solar mythos had become the son of Ra. In the ritual, heaven is described as the mansion of Shu, the mansion of his stars, which was nightly renewed, the beautiful creation which raised it up. Now I'm going to stop right there. So, now that goes back to what I was telling y'all about all right, let me turn back around here. Okay, so what we're dealing with now. What we dealing with? Back to the time thing. And I'm gonna break a little bit more of that down in a second. A little bit more of that passage down in a second. Now, you have 7. See, this is where the mathematical aspect of it comes in there. You got 7, 7, 7, 7. That's 28. That pertains, because remember when the globe of the moon, when this becomes the globe of the moon is created over the top of it, this is going to be the surface of it, but the moon is going to actually be like a hollow. It's not all the way through the center. It's just a relatively thin shell over the top. And when this becomes dark with the gold melanin flakes over it, and then covered up by the fig clusters of melanin that drops over the drunken father, as like I was telling y'all in another video. And then that's gonna be covered with snow. So you're gonna have the base, which is gonna be black, and then you're gonna have the light sprinkled over the top of it, and then you're gonna have the light is gonna be buried by more melanin that's covered over the top of that, leaving it black again with the light, little souls of light hidden under it, beneath it or whatever. and then you'll have snow over the top of the surface or whatever. That's where that whole checkerboard Mason shit come from. They talking about the checkerboard or whatever. Yin and yang and the checkerboard, the black ground with the white ice or the white snow covering over it or whatever. And so that's your 7, 14, 28. That's where your 28 days of the moon cycle thing comes from. The 28 days with the moon cycle is dealing with the 7, the four sets of 7. Now when they talk about the reigning of the 40 days and the 40 nights, they talking about the 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, and in the middle with the 7 and the 8. That's 5. 5 times 8 is 40. That's the 40 days a night. 40 days a night of the flood or whatever. So the stellar time taking dealing with the stars is dealing with all this light as it retracts to the furthest out the ring the ring furthest in the outer circumference right here, and then all that light is gonna go from being concentrated there, and it's gonna shoot out and create 7 more rings around this, and those 7 rings are gonna moonwalk back just like the light did here, and they're gonna moonwalk back into that. So you have you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. It'll be 7 more rings out here, and then so let's just say these right here are the rings out here now. Then that ring of light is gonna go back to this one, join with that one, then now we're gonna join with that one, then now we're gonna join with that one, then now we're gonna join with that one, all the way until the 7 lights out here are compressed into one ring of light. And then that ring of light is gonna shoot backwards. So let's just say that ring of light is this one right here. We use this as an example. We ain't dealing with the 7 outside, but I'm using this as an example. That last, when all that light from the 7 rings concentrate right here, that light is gonna shoot back like a flashlight. Boom, 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 boom. And those 7 are gonna, they're gonna shoot out in threes, 3 different sections, just like 1, 2, 3 right here. And those 3, 6, 9, 12 are gonna go out and become the zodiac sign. And that's why I said the stellar is dealing with the zodiac or whatever. The lunar comes when all that happens. When the light retreats from the center of the circumference and creates the ice dome over the top, that's where your lunar thing comes from. And then you would have the 7 sitting above. So let me switch back over. Go back here now. Hit them up. There you go. Boom. So, taking you back to this point, got your boy Shu right here, the whirlwind in the middle. Now, when he tells Tahuti that you are the, let me go back to it. So I don't want y'all to get it twisted. I know it sounded. Tahuti's he's the good guy. I don't want y'all think he's a. Let me go to it. All right, go back right here. Okay, it says, in the destruction of mankind, the stars are said to be the multitudes which live in the nocturnal sky. And this underworld taught the moon god is called the luminary Ra in the inferior heaven. So the inferior heaven is the outside. Really, the superior heaven is within us, in the inside. That's why they say that, but I'll call it that. And in the deep region where he inscribes the inhabitants, it is said to him, "Thou art the keeper of those who do evil, whom my heart abhors." See, now the way you have to look at that is this. When all the light shoots up here and comes up here, and that water follows it and stops right here and freezes and becomes the moon over the top, it'll be a thin layer. So it's not like it'll be a 4 sides of it, but it'll be real thin. Because remember, you got your 7 mountains in here. But even the mountains will be filled with when all this shoots up here and this freezes up and creates that dome, those mountains that are left which actually it'll probably, the moon will probably come right here and be like that. It'll probably follow the sun or follow the light. Remember, this the last one is red. Where I was telling you about the her red ice. And my doobie fingers out the way. But when this shoots up, when everything gets right here, it's gonna be a bright red. And it's gonna shoot up. So the moon would actually probably be boom, boom, sitting on that little bit of part, just like the bottom had the tailbone. Each one of them 7 have a little tailbone protruding after the 7. So when that goes up right here, that moon would probably be sitting on that tailbone, which makes sense because it's white. The tailbone, the spine is white. So when that freezes up and all the light is up here, everything down here, it's gonna be just like this. It's gonna look just like this at the surface, except you ain't gonna see the gold light because it's gonna be covered by the black melanin that each one of these flanks fell off and covering up the drunken father. And when this goes up and the lightning starts shooting everywhere, that's gonna cause of course that's gonna cause the snow to fall. So you'll have the bottom, you have the surface looking like this, or looking like the flanks on the top, but you won't see the light because it'll be covered by the darkness, and it'll have snow over it, which will be the black and white, the yin and the yang thing. The niggas want to play some sports, that's your hockey. It's where your hockey shit come from. The black puck, the white ice that they playing on, the nets that they hitting the puck into. Remember, these are the nets, the netter. So that's your hockey shit. We're gonna get some more shit. So we gotta hit you with the baseball. I ain't finished with that. That baseball, boy. Baseball, you gonna see some shit with that one. The bases loaded. Yeah. So now let me go back for you goddamn moon haters. But when they said the moon, they're basically saying Tahuti was representing the moon, and when he said he's the keeper of his heart, the heart of Ra abhors when all that light goes up there, the surface and everything within the circumference becomes a barren wasteland, cold, dry, cold and dry, dehydrated, frozen, lifeless, the dead of winter, as they call it. And when he says you are the keeper, he's saying that the moon is on top of that. It ain't like he's saying he's with them, he's holding them down. He's saying it basically is referencing how the moon is keeping or sitting over that desert wasteland, which is the true sense of evil, negation, the lack of having, poverty, as we would call it today, lack of light, negation of light, negation of knowledge. You see what I'm saying? That would be, if you wanted to spot something that correlated. First and foremost, let me say this: the white people didn't come to way after this. Even after the whole process took place, they still wasn't on the planet. But they come from a part of us. So they come from a part of our mind, or a dimension of our mind. They come from that dimension where that's why when we say they don't have no soul, ain't a nigga being mean or trying to be mean-spirited or whatever. It's being, that's why I seen somebody say something like, oh, made a big deal of, was mad at people for saying white people didn't have no soul. And look here, man. I get no. It doesn't make me. I don't get a hard on from saying that. You know, I speak this shit because it's the truth. Because I seen somebody talking like, "Oh, you're saying white people don't have a soul. You're wrong, and you need to." I'm look, man. I'm not being. This is not coming from. That's why I said from the giddy up, 2017 and shit. When I first started speaking, this is not coming from a place of emotion. I don't have. That's why I always make it my business to let it be known that when I say these things, it's not coming from a place of emotion. Because people think that, oh, you just hating, you just saying that because white people took over the planet and enslaved. But no, I'm telling you this shit because this is what the scholarship is saying. The ancestors who showed us I stand on in this teaching shit got scholarship on this shit. Bobby Hemmings said he got, so he wanted so much scholarship when it come to that he had to, it was just too much. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm basing not just off what he said, shit I was coming up with before I was still in jail, before I even got out and started watching YouTube. So I don't get a you know, I don't do that, say that because of I'm trying to stick it to the man. I'm just telling you the fucking truth. You know, at least through my interpretation, just to be fair about it. But when all that light shoots up here, and this is left as a frozen barren wasteland, that's why Ross said he abhors it, because it's soot. That's the soot thing or whatever. Welcome to the Terror Dome. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he says that. But what else finna go into? And see, even when you go back, when you're dealing with, like I was telling y'all about the Hemendor thing, Hemendor and Thor, that's Norse mythology, the Iceland shit, you know what I'm saying? So Thor, on one hand, you can look at him as in the Iceland, the light that's buried under the ice in the melanin or the dirt or whatever. So man, I was gonna go somewhere with this shit. But yeah, the soul, this would be the soul or whatever. And when it's above, and then you have this down here, lifeless, this would be the dimension, that would be the dimension where that would be where white people's existence will correspond to or whatever. And that's why we say that, because this would be the soul up here, and this would be the lifeless or the soulless tomb or body down here. The shield, the shell or whatever. So that's what they would be. That would be a way to describe the white man's existence in regards to the creation process. Because they came from us, I mean they came from a part of us, or the Norse part of us. That's why in the 5% teachings, when they tell you the dumb, deaf, and blind are frozen 32 degrees, frozen 32 degrees below, or frozen at 32 degrees or something like that. It's been a minute, but and even with that, taking deep into just white folks, some of these niggas probably ain't got no motherfucking soul, because 10 minutes left. Because even when you go back to what I just got through reading, let me go back. And in this book, it speaks on soulless beings too. So he makes references to soulless creatures a few times. I'm trying to find here because it's a kind of alludes to it a little bit in what I just read to y'all. I'm trying to find where it was at. But yeah, I can't. I'll just explain it from my own words. So many words. What I'm trying to say is, when you hear me, you hear this reading about the stars and the souls of men and the superior, the men part excellence, they talking about those who have souls down here. And some of y'all have souls. Everybody likes to think that they have a soul. And a lot of y'all have souls, and people have souls. But if you don't come into the knowledge of self, you ain't resurrecting your shit. And that's why you end up having to come back until you find out who the fuck you are. And then after that is the glory. That's when you become resurrected or reborn. But if you just down here lollygagging and shit, and you ain't about your father's business, as they would say, then you just like the shit, you playing games. You done lost sight of what you came here for. So that's that on that. But like I was saying with white folks and shit, man, it's not a thing of trying to put them down or I'm racist. I'm past that. I'm not from that. That's like my homeboy used to say, my nigga Magnificent, when we was down there, and niggas used to get to going off on the guards and shit, and you cracker and blah, blah, blah. And niggas like, oh man, them niggas went nice, you done went in on them niggas. He used to say that because he was saying that you went back to a time where niggas was on that, fuck the fucking cracker and that old mentality. My partner was like, we have a new mentality. We still understand who they are, but we don't have to walk around mad and shit and hating all white folks, because a lot of them don't know what the hell going on either. So I don't want to be the nigga, somebody, a white person who really don't know what the fuck going on and just walking around here as a regular person, don't have no type of hate towards black people, hear me and be like, oh, well, I'm not one of them, yeah. What about me? It's like, well, is it you, my friend? You're all right, I guess. I mean, socially speaking, but it's not a thing of. And like I said, that's why I put prefaces on it, so you can understand this is not coming from a nigga that's just mad because of some slavery shit. This is coming from science. It's not about me trying to just stick it down white people or whatever. And I ain't trying to brown those either, but it is what it is. I like to be clear about what the fuck I'm doing. But since we here, and I ain't got that much time left, I got a little something. Let me see this shit right here. Then I poured out my beer until they facing chest. Let's see this shit. Let me hurry up. We only goddamn time trying to find this. Hold up. Okay, I know what I'm tripping at. Give me 1 second. I'm not clocking way out. Let me see. Time. Let's see this shit. Boom, 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 boom. I want to read this part. We'll go on to the next episode. Where is it at? Fuck. I can read from this shit all this goddamn time. Fuck, man. There we go. Alright. I think I read this already though. Let me see. Man, some bullshit. I ain't. Man, I can't find this shit. But while we here, I'll find it in between time. But I'll close out with this. Something else I wanted to show y'all. Hope I can find it. Let's see. Where is that? Watch, I bump right into this shit after this goddamn camera cut off. Okay, there we go. I want to show y'all something real quick. 3 minutes left. Yeah, that's fucked up. Show y'all something about the word sin. All right, let me see. 2 minutes. I'm gonna read this page. This on page 295. It say, but in sin one with the other and compact joined. Remember I told y'all sin. The center, the sin is where it's compacted. The Harsam Tawi, the bow. This is where they're joined at, conjoined. The sin, compact and joined. Join of the two worlds, combined of the two worlds. So with that said, man, we got 2 minutes left. Yeah. So we're gonna get into some more shit in this next one. And then we're gonna get to some real interesting shit about to go down in this motherfucker. I'm gonna pop the lid on some shit. But y'all just hang tight, man. And, like I say, I hope y'all are enjoying and learning something from this shit as well. You know, I don't, motherfuckers don't, I don't know what the hell going on out there. But I just hope you niggas learning something from this shit. You know, I didn't think it'd be like this before I started speaking. I always wanted to speak and do my thing. I didn't think it's different than what I thought it would be. It's kind of weirdo time if you ask me, but you know, whatever. You know, that's why I see why Bobby used to like questions and shit. cause you know you get an interaction with motherfuckers. You know, not I don't give. Yeah, but yeah, I'll get back with y'all. Peace.